G'day Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur hippie. You find me quite near the middle of the city, but there's a tree here, so that's where I stay for my little rest. Ground's a bit wet, but it's alright, it's only water. Oh, I thought there might have been some dogs here or something like that. Hope you're all well. Just had a couple of more thoughts about the game on the weekend, and mainly what Ange Postecoglou said afterwards in an interview on Spurs Play with the Cabbage King himself. He was asked, is it part of his job? Because fans are getting a bit carried away. We're all having a good old time at the moment, enjoying watching our team, Tottenham Hotspur, by far the greatest football team the world has ever seen. Is it part of his job to maybe temper that expectation in fans? And big difference, marked contrast into what we've, as opposed to what we've been putting up with the last couple of years. Anytime Antonio Conte was asked this sort of question, the fans, we need patience, they need to be patient. Whereas Ange is just, nah, forget that. He said words along the lines of, "This is the beauty of being a supporter, mate. They suffer enough, let them go. And if they think we're going to be world beaters, or we are world beaters, then it's up to us to match that expectation." Isn't that a beautiful quote? And it's quotes like that that really get my juices going. And it was the genuine spirit he said it with, as well as it being totally off the cuff. Now, we probably all know some of those great quotes, mainly from Bill Nicholson and Danny Blanchflower in the past. And it's funny when you see them written down, they get such to the core of football and Tottenham Hotspur and being a player or being a fan of the club, that sometimes they can have the impression of being so good that they've been thought out. But just hearing Ange talk, obviously he's talking from the heart. It makes me realise that those other guys talk from the heart as well. Danny Blanchflower, things like, if we don't know what we're going to do, how's the other team going to know? Beautiful quotes like that. So I'm thinking, there's a lot more of Ange to come on this, and he gets it. He gets what being a supporter is about, and he gets that there is suffering and joy. He's mentioned that before, suffering, as in, even during a game, like during the game on the weekend, it was kind of suffering. Didn't have much doubt. I knew we would do it, but still, you're suffering. Waiting, 5-0, 5-0, they're on to me. You do kind of put yourself through a lot of turmoil before you get that rewarded, that feeling of elation when your team not only just scores goals but wins. In the Premier League record for the latest win, beating our own record, so still with us. I don't know if anyone's going to beat that unless they come across another bunch of time-wasting muppets like Sheffield United. They're certainly not sponsored by Rolex or Hublot. Anyway, I was also impressed with Ange during that game, right near the death. I think it might have been Basuma went down near the opponent's touchline with cramp. And maybe Ange thought, it might well have been genuine cramp, because Basuma, man, he was running. Him and Kulusevski, I don't know what they're eating, man, but I don't know. They should market it, energy power food or something. Especially Dejan Kulusevski, just running and running and running. And he's, Dejan Kulusevski is getting back to his best. That was his best performance for a long time, and. Maybe it was a confidence thing with him as well. Just as we've seen with a lot of players, they had their shackles on. But Yves Basuma was down, having a bit of cramp, and Ange was there. We're talking about 30 seconds to go in the game. You could have easily seen it out, but Ange is, get up, let's keep going. This is the relentlessness of him. There's no scope in an Ange Postecoglou team for any of these, what they call these days, game management, running it to the corner flag, taking, the goalkeeper taking half an hour to take a kick, that sort of stuff. And I think I understand where he's coming from, because even if you're ahead, the only time you're going to sharpen yourself really truly as a player is in a competitive match where it's all on the line. And so you've got to take every minute, every opportunity to do that, to increase your own skill. It's like practice, you know, practice makes perfect. And so if you're tapering off 5 minutes before the end, that's 5 minutes pressure, exercise, focus that you've had to lack, because those extra minutes come into play, especially when you're talking about cup games that might go into extra time. You know, who's going to be more worthy or more likely to come out on top when you've got to play an extra half-hour football? Is it going to be the team that coasts after 75 minutes, or is it the team like Tottenham Hotspur that kept on going until the 112th minute on the weekend? It was beautiful. I love that attitude. You know, there's risk, of course. There's risk in there, but football's a risk business, or it should be. When it's entertaining, if you're not taking risks, you're not stretching yourself. If you're playing safe, you're never going to improve, are you? It's by taking risks, and, you know, accepting that sometimes those risks aren't going to come off. You are going to make mistakes sometimes, but the benefit is you're going to get better and better and better. And so the risks you're taking are going to be more and more dramatic, you know, and you're going to get more of those fancy flicks or one-touch no-look passes coming off. If you don't do it, you ain't going to ever be able to do it. So I've seen a few people not poo-poo, but be a little bit, you know, down about some of our performance during that game. And for me, I was really happy with it, because even when, I think it was probably around the time Burnley scored the goal, a bit before, a bit after, we had so much possession of the ball, but we were, as Ange said, we were chasing the game a bit. We were doing lots of crosses in the box where there kind of wasn't really a way through there. But it was all, even though it wasn't coming off, it was always with the intent of putting pressure on the other team and getting a goal. And I'm all for that, man. So even though some of it wasn't coming off, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it, because like I say, you keep doing it, and then when it really counts, you're going to have the ability to pull it off and do something special and stick it in the back of the net, as the boys did twice in the dying minutes of the game. Richarlison seems to have got a bit of a swagger in his step. I thought he played pretty well, actually, you know, especially after he got goal. Nice and calm on the ball, laid it off for the human engine Kulusevski. And the good news is, in other fixtures around the traps, Arsenal only won 1-0 against Everton. Now, I haven't seen that game, but given that Everton are struggling and Sean Dyche seems to be a bit under pressure, and the club's changing ownership, you know, it doesn't seem like a fully settled club. I'm sure there's a bit of disgruntlement amongst the fans. You'd think that would be a club that would be there for a bit more of the picking. I mean, I haven't seen it, so it's hard to judge, but I'm just reading anything into anything I want, because Ange said I can be delusional. So I'm just following Gaffer's orders, man. Ange is the boss, and I'm telling you we're going to be world beaters. I'm telling you we're going to win the Premier League. We're going to go deep in the cup. If we don't win anything this year, we're definitely winning the league next year, man, next year. So Arsenal 1-0. Chelsea floundering like the useless fake football tin pot club they are, against Bournemouth, who we took to the sword 2 weeks ago. Or was it 3 weeks ago? It's all getting blurry, man. I don't know anymore. Time's a weird old concept. There's no watch here, mate. So, you know, Chelsea was supposed to be one of those teams that a lot of the, you know, the experts and pundits were going to, they were saying it'd be right up there. I knew nothing of the sort. I've been saying it all along. The Chelsea are a tin pot club that was just propped up by a load of dirty Russian oligarchy money, and now it's going back to the pits where it belongs. So it bodes well for us at the moment. It bodes well. You can see there's a real togetherness in the fans, a togetherness on the pitch, man. They're all supporting each other. They're all, you know, they're all, you know, if the pass doesn't go right, they're not going, oh, what the hell are you doing? Oh, they're going, yeah, I see what you're trying to do there. You know, these players, as well as they're playing at the moment, You won't recognise them in 6 months' time. We're going to be so much better when they instinctively know where each other's going to be. We're not at that stage yet, so it's a credit to their ability and their professionalism that they've got so far so quickly. But you wait, when they start improvising and doing a bit of free flow jazz on the pitch, we're going to get even more excited. So good times ahead, good times ahead. Bad times ahead for the Gooners, Chelsea, Man United. Don't get me started on Man United. Ten Hag. Ten ha. Anyway, folks, I'll leave it there. Peace and love, man. Peace and love. Oh, by the way, I've uploaded a couple of shorts. When I do live streams, I do a 5-minute countdown. I thought I'd jazz it up a bit. So I thought I'd give people a reminder on why Tottenham Hotspur is the greatest club the world has ever seen. And there's 17 moments in our history where we won major trophies. Now, the sorts of people that might say to you, and they say to me, how can you call Tottenham Hotspur the best team in the world? You never win anything. Well, never's a big word, my friend. And if you're saying the word never, you're discounting the 17 major honours we have won. And I know it might have been a while ago, but never's never, isn't it? Never, you absolutists. And I'm saying we've got a rich history at our club, and I put the clip together just to remind people. And hopefully those days are coming back, and it will be a pleasure to go through the turmoil and arduousness of video editing to add a few more clips on this year and next year. So until then, until next time, folks, peace and love, man. Peace and love, and come on, you Spurs.